you can speak to the fact that the process and the strategies and the tools and the ways that you're going to support them is with that goal in mind.
When you are in a sales conversation with somebody, or if your client is going into a sales conversation with somebody, are there some specific strategies or techniques or thought patterns that you suggest that they use?
Yeah, so I always recommend that there's some sort of pre-qualifying process before somebody's even able to book a call. So many people will put like a book with me kind of link on their website, and then somebody can just get on their calendar and they are in this conversation. The person never knew what your price range was. They're not a good fit for what you do, or they're not even aware of what your actual services are. Maybe they made some assumptions based on your degree, and you're just like opening your calendar up to anyone who wants it. That's not a great, it's not a great strategy for getting good quality, effective sales conversations. So, and I don't know if you can hear my baby screaming, but this is mom life,
Normal
right?
life. Yep.
Yeah. So all of that to say, with the other parts of the sales process, something that I actually just got off a call with a client 20 minutes ago about this, where she was taught to put a lot of these pain point digging type of questions in her application, where it's like things like, what how much have you spent on this already, like, and think about all the different things that you've spent on co-pays and blah blah blah. And I'm looking at this question, and again, she learned it from someone else, so she wasn't doing anything wrong, she was just following instructions. But I was like, you're literally trying to like rub somebody's nose and how many places they've already invested and failed at during an application process. That could make them already in their shame about like, oh my gosh, I already spent all this money. Maybe I shouldn't spend more. Or they come into the conversation and they're being motivated by how much pain they're in. And that's not an empowering conversation to have someone, right? I'm not saying you can't talk about the pain. I'm not saying that you have to like spiritually bypass people. But if your sales process is designed to like nail somebody in their gut to be like, oh, look how bad your life is right now, and let me just like twist the knife harder, nobody is going to like that, right? You're not going to enjoy it. That's not, especially if you're in the health space, you didn't get into health to like make somebody feel terrible about their problem. I really feel like a lot of the sales conversation and sales lead up, which again, even the questions that go into your application should be focused on, what do they want? Like, what would your life look like if you didn't have this problem? What would this make possible? How would this change your life? And having that part of the sales conversation as well, which I think a lot of people I work with, they're so used to really trying to find the problems for people that they either accidentally or like they're uncomfortable about talking about like, what's this going to do for you? But that kind of sales conversation is a lot more fun for everybody involved. It's a lot more effective too. So being able to really speak to, what's driving them to invest, driving them to work with you, driving them to sign up, driving them to get help that is exciting and positive, and making sure that your application, your messaging, your marketing is all around filtering for the person who is already motivated. They don't need to be like, rub their nose in it to make them actually want what you have. And they have goals, they have dreams, they have desires that are on the other side of the transformation that your offer provides. I will say a lot of the people I work with are very nervous about, they say, I don't want to promise that they're going to get a result, right? I don't want to guarantee. And none of this is about guaranteeing results. Nobody, if you're a coach, expert, consultant, you can never guarantee a result. Even if you were literally spoon feeding them at their house, you can't guarantee that it's going to give them the result. But you can speak to the fact that the process and the strategies and the tools and the ways that you're going to support them is with that goal in mind, and is, the way that to reach that goal as somebody who's an expert. That to me is totally different than guaranteeing an outcome. And so if people are buying a result, that is what they're paying for. They're not paying for your time. Sure, you're a lovely person, but they're not paying because they just want to like hang out with you. They're paying because they think your service is going to help them get an outcome. And we can speak to that in an ethical way without lying about what we're capable of or making false promises. But I really think so many people are so afraid to not be able to deliver on an outcome that they just like avoid talking about it. And then they wonder why people are like, oh, I don't know, I have to think about it. I'm not sure if this is for me. So that's another piece of it as well. If you've been taught to like, just like make people feel like garbage about themselves to try to make them buy something, or if you've been afraid to claim publicly what your services are designed to help people accomplish, Either of those things can hurt sales, and it can make sales feel a lot grosser than a sales conversation where it's like, let's get excited about what your life could look like once you have this result.
Yep. Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense. So you have to understand the person's problems. You have to know what they're going through, but you have to empathize with it, right? And empathy is different than, drilling in on what their problems are and reminding them over and over again rather than showing them the outcome, which, like you said, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for the outcome of what you're providing. And so you do have to talk about that. You can't just beat around the bush on what it exactly is they're coming to you for. Hey, sorry to interrupt, but if you are a health or wellness professional and you haven't yet checked out The Wellness Vault, you're missing out. The Wellness Vault is a content hub for coaches who create their own plans and programs for their clients, run workshops, create digital guides, and so much more. You can now do all of this in a fraction of the time so you can focus on your clients and grow your business faster than ever with more you time. The link to The Wellness Vault is in the show notes, so go sign up for your free trial today. Thank you for watching this short clip. To watch or listen to this episode in its entirety, view the description below. See you next time.